Thank you for listening to Dialogues on Democracy, stories and expertise from 25 years of sustainable democracy. I'm Joseph Marcus. The media, both traditional and social, empower citizens in the democratic process by providing information and a platform for expression. In this podcast, IFES experts Anthony Bowyer, Vasu Mohan, Santos, and Raquel Fontanés discuss the role of media in the electoral process and IFES's support of it. How does a free press contribute to a country's democratic development?
Informed and nuanced reporting, that's a really important piece for media, from my opinion. The other piece is getting information out to the public, but also broader, who's running for office? What is their task? What have they accomplished thus far? Their credibility. Those are the pieces that only media can do.
What are some of the challenges that emerging journalists and media outlets face as they begin to work in countries that are transitioning to democracies?
We see that journalists in Central America face threats when they're doing investigative journalism, many times looking and trying to hold governments, as particularly at the local level, accountable, can lead to threats, whether it be by illicit groups or politicians and others in society.
It does take brave people to stick their neck out in some cases. Brave journalists have been able to dig out more information that when you have a very close society and you're transitioning to something more open, a lot of information can come to light that's important in this process of reconciliation and transition.
IFES has a history of training journalists. How is the electoral process enhanced by professional journalism?
They are not observers in the strictest sense of, elected observation, but they are really observing and reporting on what is happening in a very broad sense to the public.
Part of this training has also included information and awareness of the enfranchisement of special needs groups. And these are concerns typically ignored, or they were swept under the rug, or just journalists were not aware of the extent to which groups were actually physically and practically disenfranchised. This includes minority groups, persons with disabilities, as well, of course, as issues of gender equality in the elections.
In the case of Kenya in 2007, inflammatory reporting contributed to inciting the political violence that happened. Yet now in 2013, we see a complete shift in the local media and their coverage of the process, which I think was one of the instrumental factors contributing to the credibility and peaceful outcome of the 2013 elections.
Tell us about the establishment of media centers during elections. What are the benefits of having them?
By setting up this space, we actually providing them a place where they can come in. They felt welcome because TSC was actually acknowledging that they were there. They gave them a space to write their report after they did interviews. Many times before we created the media center, what happened is they were just lurking around either in the front, outside of the Electoral Tribunal in Guatemala, or around the corridors. It created actually a good relationship building space with the electoral management body, as well as increase the flow of information. It became more of a regular process and a regular communication between the journalists and the TSC.
A free press and democracy are closely interrelated. How has social media contributed to this dynamic?
Well, social media, I would say, is still emerging in the countries where I work in East and Southern Africa. But I would say, though, that I have already seen how it has improved certain key processes within the election process. For example, in the case of Uganda and Kenya, social media was very instrumental to improve the voter registration process.
Social media really served to awaken many voters and attract their attention and rally the interest of young people. As we've seen in the recent Armenian presidential elections, upstart candidates and those who really realized the value of social media were using it in a way that almost shocked the Armenian electoral system. The issue is keeping them interested, of course, over the long term. But as in terms of a tool of mass communication, in a state where the print and TV media is controlled, it was almost unprecedented.
For more dialogues on democracy and information about IFES's work with the media, please visit our website, www.ifes.org.